Hey YouTube, coming at you with a deck profile. This is my X-Saber build that I may end up running at regionals. It's been working out pretty well. I went to locals and my record was 4-1, and I had the lead before I did my tiebreakers, so I guess I could have topped, but it was pretty good overall. My only loss was to Tour Guide Plants, and it was actually because of a very scrub move I did. I forgot one of my Dark Soul searches, and it could have won me Game 3. Whatever happens, though, happens, so I can't kick myself in the face for it forever, and overall, the deck's been performing very well. I just have to start learning how to use it a little better, because this is the first time I've ever played X-Sabers, and I get the concept. It's not a hard deck to run, but it's always the little things. It's always like, how many Dark Soul searches are you getting, when to activate this and that, what to sync for. Just like any other deck, it always has its variables, and a good player knows how to exploit certain plays. Anyway, onto the deck profile. We have 3 Bogart Knights. Now, some people like to run this at 2, and I honestly can't understand why. Yes, if he gets Effect Veilered, it's kind of unfortunate, but he's also a 1900 beater that runs over half of the anti-meta stuff that can wreck you like Ryo, so I don't see why you cannot run him at 3. He's just that good. 2 Dark Souls. Again, this card right here is retardedly good. It's a constant plus, and the ruling hasn't changed yet, so we may see this card to still do well at YCSs just because it just keeps getting pluses over and over again, and it's retarded. We have 3 xx-saber full helm knights. Right now, probably the best tuner in the deck. I mean, it blocks an attack, and it's great when you run over a defense position monster and his effect triggers. I mean, it's great just to get plus off of plus, and he's just an amazing tuner overall. Much better than Arabelle in this format, especially with Dark Worlds. 3 Emmersblade is your Battle Searcher. Again, retardedly good. You have 2 Fall Trolls. I may up this 3. When I tried it at 3 originally, it seemed to clog up my hand too much, but while I was at locals, it seemed like there were so many opportunities where he would have been so great if I had just an extra one that I could draw into. Overall, it's an amazing card, but 2 is fine for now because it just seems to clog up hands otherwise. I may go back to 3, though, just depending. 2 Saber Pustules, your Spirit Reaper, your 2-star tuner Spirit Reaper. Really, really useful. 2 Effect Veiler, because it's Effect Veiler. Super Nimble Mega Hamster, probably the only techie thing in here. It's great to just grab, set it, grab, what's his name, Dark Soul. And then one of my favorite plays is if you have a Pustule in hand, you flip it up, summon Pustule, and then you sync and go into Trish. Little plays like that just really help this deck. Last but not least, rounding off the monster lineup is 1 Gorse. Spells, Pot of Duality. This card is great in this deck because it helps you set up your first turn plays, and the way X-Sabers work, if you have your first turn play set, if you have your Dark Soul, your Hamster, your Emmersblade set along with a decent amount of back row, you're pretty much good. You will win like 90% of the time. So Pot of Duality helps, and you don't want more than 2 because 3 is a dead draw and clogs up the hands. 2 Econs. This card is incredibly flexible and retardedly good in this deck. Pretty much, I can just sit on it for just ever, and it's funny when I tribute my Dark Soul to grab their stuff, or change something to defense position, and then run it over with Full Helm Knight and get my plus. Again, just a very flexible card overall. I mean, you could replace this with Forbidden Lance if you want to put in the extra money, but I don't see the need to. This card just already does so much for the deck. We have 2 MSTs, pretty necessary. Side in my 3rd one. Dark Hole Heavy and Monster Reborn, staples. And 1 Book of Moon, because it's funny. It stops everything, and it's the most flexible tech in the game right now. My trap lineup, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 traps. So I pretty much ran the perfect ratio. I ran 10 spells, 10 traps, and 20 monsters. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. Amazing this format. Stops a lot of the bullshit that's going on in the meta right now. And it's really, really good against, in particular, agents. Hate this card so much. 2 Gotham Z-Call. Yeah, it's your Call of the Haunted on steroids. I don't see why I have to explain that too much. And it's funny in a mirror match. I didn't have one, but, you know. Your Solemn Brigade, 2 Solemn Warnings, and 1 Solemn Judgment. Staples. Torrential Tribute, Starlight Road, and Reinforced Truth. Torrential Tribute's obvious. Starlight Road, obvious. Reinforced Truth, if you don't know what it already does, pretty much, you set it. It's chainable to MST. You special summon a level 2 or lower warrior from your deck. So you just go into your deck, grab Postule, sit on it, and then sync the next turn. My extra deck was pretty standard. I had the set in Echurias, Trish, Brio, Bullcrap, Hyunli, Gothams, all that fun stuff. Overall, the deck performed well. Things I may want to tweak at, I may actually just end up taking out the dualities, maybe adding to the trap lineup, or maybe just taking out MSTs altogether because I didn't see like minimal back row play at my locals. Maybe it's just exclusive to there, but it just seemed like no one wanted to even set anymore. And what I MST'd was usually another MST or them just setting a spell because they were, for some reason, deathly afraid of me playing Dark Worlds. I don't know. People are silly, but overall, pretty good deck. I wish I had seen what I could do in the tiebreakers. I know at my locals, K Shim plays TG Stun, and I would have probably versed him. It would have been an interesting match. I wanted to see how this deck would do against TG Stun. But overall, really good deck, really solid. Rate, comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions, hit up the description bar below. Thanks for watching, YouTube.